Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Live in Italy Magazine's podcast, which can now be found on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You'll be able to read an article version on our website, Live in Italy Magazine, and also find a video version on our YouTube channel. I am pleased today to welcome Chef Daniele Corona, who is a partner and executive chef at a very well-known restaurant in Toronto called DaNico. And it is June, and I'm very pleased as a Canadian-born to be part of a new feature in our magazine that celebrates Italian Heritage Month in Canada. You're used to us talking about Italian Americans, but we are very pleased to welcome and hear the stories like Chef Daniele's of Italians in Canada or descendants. So we're going to talk about Chef Daniele's journey from Italy to Canada, his goals and visions for the restaurant, and also what it means to be an Italian in Canada. My name is Lisa Morales, and I am the editor of Live in Italy magazine, a travel and lifestyle publication dedicated to all things Italy. Welcome, Chef Daniele. So pleased to have you here.
Hi, Lisa. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor.
Yes, and it's an honor to meet you as well. I've been reading so much, and I hope all of you, if you have an opportunity, if you're not already in Canada, but are visiting Canada, to go to the restaurant. So, Daniela, I'd like to start from the beginning. Where were you born and raised?
I born in Italy, of course, in Napoli downtown, in the center, and I raised there until I finished my culinary school, and then I moved around in Italy for work experience.
That's right. And I believe you have your award-winning journey already began in Italy in the Amalfi Coast, right?
Yeah,
And
I went in Milan for more than 1 year, and then I went to Capri Island 3 years, and then Rome 8 years, and then Amalfi Coast at Don Alfonso, original Don Alfonso. And after original Don Alfonso, I moved to Canada to follow the Canadian Don Alfonso in Toronto.
that's right. That's amazing. And what a great restaurant with so much history. If you
Yeah,
look up the
yeah,
name, it's 1890, so they've been around a long time. So
very
I
long
want to
time.
I want to go back a little bit to your childhood. Something that I read, a lot of Italians will bring up, either their mother, but especially their nonna. So let's talk about your grandmother and
Yeah.
home and the food and la tavola and the tradition. What was it that made an impression on you at a very early age that made you maybe think that this is the career I want to pursue?
So I feel very lucky because I spent a lot of time with my nonna when I was child. Um, I always remember the smell of her food when she was cooking. It's something that it's in my mind and my heart all the time, and that's what I do all the time in the kitchen. I try to put this emotion in my plates. It's not easy, but when I think of new dishes, I always try to have this memory in my to recall this memory in my mind to and put in my plates in my dishes.
Right. Is there any particular dish that really you have a fond memory? Because food and smell is such an association
Yeah,
in
there
life.
is a lot, but one
Mhm.
was is come often in my mind. It was pasta e patate because I remember before I took the stairs to go to my nonna apartment, the smell was already there. So that's why I remember this dish because it was so deep, and every single bite was like a uh, an emotion a very deeply emotion. So that's this is the dish that if I can say it's always in my heart. Pasta e patate e provola.
Nice. I will look it up. I don't know it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
Sounds
traditional Napolitan dish, very old recipe. But sometimes the most simple thing they are the best.
yes, and I think that's something that we really learn through Italian cuisine. I love to cook, is that simplicity is best and not to,
Yeah.
overdo it. That's great. So do you know more or less of what age were you when you thought, this might be something I want to pursue?
When I was on the first year of my culinary school, was 13 years old.
Wow, so
Yeah.
young.
Yeah,
That's
I was thinking to be a chef, and then when I was 15 was my first time in a professional kitchen, and I was still going to the school. I did
that's
2 years work and school, and then when I got my culinary diploma, I I worked full time in a kitchen.
right.
Yeah.
So
So it's already 21 years that I do
yeah.
this job.
Yeah, well, experience, and we're going to talk about that some more too. But that's quite a few years. You started young, and to know from such a young age, that's very
Yeah,
admirable.
yeah,
So
yeah,
let's talk a little bit before we get into the restaurant about food philosophy. And I've
yeah.
always loved from one of the very first interviews I did that she brought up the expression, a tavola non si invecchia. Um, yeah, I don't know how my pronunciation is, but for
La
those of you who
tavola,
don't,
sì, la tavola non si invecchia. This means everything in Italy. No? In Italy, the the main point of the life is the family. No, so our culture is to stay to have a lunch or dinner all together, brothers, parents,
right.
also the rest of the family at in tavola on the table. So this means a lot for us because this is an excuse to stay with them, to connect with them, and to eat some natural and good food. So it's for us it's everything. I remember when I was child, every day, me, my brothers, and my parents, at least one time a day, we was all together at the table and enjoy the food that my mom cooked. Right now, it's a little bit more difficult because, of course, new generation is different. But at
Right.
least every single family they are at the table all together, and they stay like for 2 3 hours together to enjoy the Sunday lunch.
Right. Right. That's amazing. And I'm so glad
Yeah,
that you keep those tradition. And that's really
yeah,
the core of Live in Italy magazine. Although we do interview a lot of people, foreigners who have moved to Italy. It's also about adopting some of those things that possibly we've lost in our North American lives and our busy lives or anywhere. It doesn't
yeah,
have to just necessarily mean, North American per se, that we bring some of that back. So that's great to know. And I'm so glad that you have brought that sense and feeling to Canada as well. So let's talk about the journey. When did you move to Canada and why?
so the reason why I moved to Canada was because I was working with Don Alfonso on original location,
Mhm.
and Chef Alfonso asked me to follow his project in Toronto, and I just accepted his job offer and came to Canada to follow his restaurant. And I was there for 5 years. I got my first Michelin star there, and then I opened my business with the Canadian partner of original of the Don Alfonso in Toronto.
Right.
This is
Which,
this is this is the reason why I came in Canada. Why I came? It's it's a very thoughtful decision because I had also other offer. One was in Italy, was a very good place. Another one was in US, but I decided Canada because I always worked in Michelin star restaurants in Italy, so I always my dream was to get my own, or where I am where I work as executive chef, got a Michelin star, and at that time Michelin not was yet in Canada,
Hmm.
and I did my thoughts in my mind. I said, okay, if I go in US, there is thousands of Michelin star restaurants. In Italy,
Right.
even more. You
Right.
know what? If you want to be one of the first, because I don't like to be the best, I like to be the first, because the people gonna remember you only if you write a culinary page in account. So I got the opportunity in Canada because as a new country and Mission Not was still here. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna go there because I think if we're gonna go to a Michelin star there, I will be always in one of the first chef ever to get Michelin star in account, and that is amazing. That's why I
Right.
decided to come in Canada.
That's very smart. But I must say, okay, is that somebody who's been born and raised in Toronto? Toronto has a very, very vibrant culinary scene, multicultural. You can find everything. What is new to Canada is the Michelin Guide, and that's like so prestigious. So it's like 2024. So you were part of the very first guide as part of Don Alfonso, correct? So that's
Yes.
amazing. Yes. So for anybody who's watching or listening to this, it's very important to say is that what makes this defining for you is the fact that it's now elevated to Michelin star caliber, the restaurants. It's not because Canada is, or Toronto per se, is not lacking in any the culinary scene. It is very much there. So congratulations. And so
Thank you.
we may as well get into your awards. We talked about that before we started recording. So not only are you the only Italian in Canada to receive one Michelin star at two different restaurants, this year you were named best chef in top 50 top Italy, right? Which
Yeah.
means now I was overwhelmed by that. So we're talking about Italian restaurants outside of Italy in the world. Like, wow, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
did that
That's a
feel?
very, very big achievement. I was so
Yeah,
surprised because there was like more than 200 colleagues in when I was in Milan. I did expect. I was so surprised. I said to my friend that is also a Michelin star chef in Italy. We was close and say, but I don't know who's gonna be the chef this year, the best chef this year. And say, after 10 minutes, they say the chef of the year, Daniele Corona, come on the stage. I said, "Oh, that's
right.
that's incredible." And then my friend said, "But you was joking, or you was already aware of that?" I said, "No, I was completely surprised when they said my name, and of course the emotion was very high."
Of course it was. And if you have an opportunity, go on to Instagram and look up DaNico and also Chef Daniele. Like that's what I was doing last night. You see some nice video clips in that or receiving the award to capture the moment right there. And you forgot something. So not just the top Italian chef for 50 top Italy, but also the third best restaurant in that guide as well
Yeah,
for the
DaNico. Yeah.
year. Yeah, so the restaurant itself,
For the first year,
another honor.
because we opened like 1 year and 5 months ago, so it's
Right.
we are still new, and but we feel so comfortable at the table, me and my team, that we looks like we are there for very long time. We are so connected each other, where the guests they feel very very special when they come in our restaurant.
Right. That's amazing. And that's something, like I said, hopefully you can explore that in person, but also there's a lot out there. There's videos and things like this that you like I watched last night, A Day in the Life of Chef Daniele, and talking about, the back end in the kitchen, what is done, and also most importantly, the service. So it's very impressive. Before we go into the restaurant and the beginnings and your concept, I also want to say one more award that I know of is a Tre Forchetti with Gambaro Rosso, because we're talking
Yeah.
about this. Because at the time of this recording, next week on Monday, the best restaurants in Miami that received the Gambaro Rosso award will be receiving it. And you have too. So you're on that guide, which is, if you're not familiar with Gambaro Rosso, that is the most prestigious food and wine publication in Italy. So
Absolutely.
again, congratulations.
Thank you. Actually, Gambero Rosso, they give to our sommelier also the best
Mhm.
wine list the last year with the three forks. They give also an award for the best wine list
Very
in
good.
yeah, that was
And,
amazing. Yeah.
and we'll talk about that soon because as somebody that is very much into Italian wine, that I noticed that when we get into your menu a bit. But let's backtrack a bit. First of all, you were at Don Alfonso, and that is also the parent company is Liberty Entertainment, right? And then I guess the idea came about between the two of you because the name DaNico comes from you
And
and
my business
Nico
partner.
Didera.
Yeah, Nino.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's probably more that if you're looking how to say, instead of saying DaNico, you should be saying DaNico, right?
Yeah. No,
Because of
it's
the two,
one word.
two,
It's one word
yeah.
with N capital. So it's
Yeah,
D and N. Yeah.
okay, so say it for, is it Danico, right?
Yes.
With
Yes.
the accent. Yeah. But it's good
Yeah.
to know that history there. So how did that feel? Because here you are working for like a world renowned family restaurant name, but here's an opportunity to do what you want as creator.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what?
So
Mhm.
yes.
No,
Can you
tell
say
us.
the?
I was going to say, go ahead. Talk about what came about. What was your creative vision now that you have an opportunity to form your own menu
Yes.
and
So
restaurant concept?
basically the menu that we have at DaNico, it's the result of my experience in a kitchen. So as I said before, I spent many years in Italy. So when I moved to Canada in 2018, was a kind of chef. I was mostly Italian. When after 6 years in Canada, where is the most multicultural and multi ethnic country, especially Toronto, I felt that my culinary vision should open mind to mix my roots, my culinary roots, with where I am living now. We have a very big Asian community in Toronto, and the most reason why I decided to mix my Italian culinary vision with Asian and Canadian products, it's because the fish and some products that we got in Toronto come from Japan, from the fish market, Tokyo fish market, where are very well connected with Canada. They come like two times every 2 days, and the
Mhm.
fish and the fish is extremely fresh. And also some other products that are extremely fresh, so they can guarantee me to give the best products to our guests, the best quality to our guests. So that is the main reason why I decided to mix my Italian food with Asian and Canadian products, because to promote the high quality products.
That's right. Yeah, and I see that, and it's so well expressed on the menu. So you have the tasting menu, and then you have the a la carte. Can you
Yeah.
explain the difference between the two?
So basically, we have a tasting menu, 8 courses with
Hmm.
an aperitivo. The aperitivo means like canapé, like a small finger food in the
Right.
beginning, and then we have 2 starters. The
Hmm.
first one is the tonno tonnato, and the second one is the cervo, is the venison, and then we go through the spaghettone, spaghettone mushroom and truffle, and then we have the black cod with vermouth sauce and caviar, and after the black cod we have the Wagyu, that is our meat course. So we have canapé, 2 starters, 1 pasta, 2 main course, and then we have a dessert and petit four. So there is the sweet part of the tasting menu where we offer our dessert plus petit four, that they are small, 4 small desserts that the guests they can enjoy at the end of the meal with
Right.
coffee, tea, or some digestive.
Excellent. And then the a
And
la carte.
a la carte um, uh, we have an option to choose 3 of dishes on our menu. We have antipasti, we have pasta and primi courses, and then
Right.
we have the main courses. We have like 5 antipasti, 5 pasta and risotto courses, and 5 main course. The guests they can choose one each.
Hmm.
So they can try a little bit of everything with limited time. Like they can say 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, anytime they want. But this to give the opportunity to the guests to not spend like 3 hours at the table, because not everyone want to do the tasting menu and have a time to stay 3 hours at the table. So
There
that's
you go.
why we decided to do a prefixed menu, but a la carte. They can choose whatever they want on a menu,
Right.
uh, and that's it.
And I think that's probably great. Let's say if somebody is returning. So you try the tasting
Exactly.
and you have a good concept of what's there, and then you go back and have like the
Yes,
dinner,
yes,
complete
yes.
dinner version. One thing
Exactly.
that I was studying your menu last night. One thing I thought that was an amazing option, like I said, is that, having studied wine and obviously focusing on Italian wine, is that you have the two pairing menu options as well. And I was just going now, if you go to the second level, there are the French ones, but I was very delighted to see what your pairings were for each part of the testing. Tasting menu for the wines. That's like, I know you're not, you have a sommelier team, but
Yeah, absolutely.
very
We
very
have a very strong
thoughtful.
team. So yeah,
Yes.
they,
So a lot of thought goes into that. I can see
yeah, yeah.
that's amazing. So, uh, go ahead.
Yeah, every time I do a new dish, they always try like 5, 6 times to find the right pairing, because that's extremely important, pairing well the wine with food, and must be extremely balanced. Otherwise, the wine can destroy
Of course.
the flavor of the food. No, if it's too powerful, or even if it's too light, too much strongness to pair with the food. It's something that the guests they can feel, and they can definitely they can be unsatisfied. So that's
Right.
why the wine is wine and food are 50% and 50%.
Right.
Usually in a restaurant we give much more value to the food, but
Hmm.
if you want a high quality restaurant and
Hmm.
with high standard, we have to think that the food is the 50% and the wine is the 50% of the job. So we need to match together. We have to work together to make
Right.
sure that the flavor and the balance are well calibrated.
Right. And I mean, of course, this doesn't apply just to Italy, but I've always said that food and wine in Italy, they're synonymous. One doesn't go without the other and they complement each other
Yeah.
exactly like you said. That's wonderful to know. So you talked about changing the menu. So are there always certain things that one can expect, or do you do it seasonally?
I
Seasonally,
follow
I'm
the
going.
season. I follow the season. Uh, every 2 3 months we change the dishes. Even if I
Mhm.
have not to change the protein, but the vegetables and all the sides, I always follow the season. For example, until 2 months ago, I had the squash, the Canadian squash on the menu with the lobster. But I like so much lobster. Say, okay, you know what? Let's keep a little bit more the lobster, and I matched the lobster with a wonderful Ontario white asparagus with nettles. That now it's the season, so it's this is the thoughts behind of every season to follow the seasonal products and to make
Right,
sure the guests they get as much fresh possible products on a plate.
right. Excellent. And here at the magazine, we've talked about sustainability, which I feel like from all this time and research that has gone into Italy on our behalf of the magazine, is that sustainable has always been something that's part of Italian cuisine. Just because there's regional cuisine, and each region is different, so you're making use of what comes on hand. But what I want to ask you is, sustainability has become a popular word, but we're also trying to develop the idea or the philosophy behind sustainable luxury, because DaNico is considered, a world-winning top-class luxury restaurant. So how would you define sustainable luxury?
I think sustainability it's natural. It's natural as I said. I am Italian, and this started from my roots. Like before, we was talking from my nonna, right? My nonna, I
Mm-hmm.
think, is the most sustainable person in the world. I never see my nonna that put some vegetable or some food in a garbage. So we always use it everything as much as possible. I remember sometime there was time in the summer was like a zucchini time. We eat a zucchini for like 10 days, to make sure that we know we had zero waste. So
Right.
uh, for us, it's in Europe we are a little bit lucky on that because it's part of our culture and how this is my mentality since I was kid, and I just put this mentality in my kitchen and make sure that my team they follow this kind of a mentality. So it's a system that you have to create in your kitchen to make sure that you have a zero waste, to make sure that you don't use too much plastic in the kitchen, to use
Mhm.
less energy. Um, Sustainability it's a generic word. No, many people they match sustainability with just the food, but
Right.
sustainability there is a lots of topics of sustainability. There is also financially sustainability. So a business
Hmm.
must be financially sustainable, where the every employee have to have the right salary, have to have the good time off to spend with their family. That's essential to make sure that your team come at work motivated and give the 100% when they are in a workplace. So this means for me sustainability. Take care, take care of environment, take care of the people that are around of you, and make sure that this mentality goes through the team. Because
Right.
even when they finish work with you have to make sure that this mentality goes to other places. So the new generation, they're gonna adapt automatically to take care of the environment and knows very well what I mean sustainability word.
Right. I love that answer. That's fantastic. That's a great
Thank you.
360 answer. And also, yeah, responsibility comes with so many levels, not just in the food you eat. And that's the food itself that's expressed on the menu. Again, that seems to be very important to you, that you say where things are sourced from, and you make a conscious effort, like you said, to support Canadian grown products and be seasonal. So I really like that. So
Yeah.
when we do Italian American Heritage Month, we've talked to descendants. So it could be great grandfather, grandfather, even further from Italy. So things have become distorted as far as food. And when I say distorted, that's not in a negative way, because when you move to a new country, sometimes things couldn't be found, or your routine and your workday change. So did food evolve. But as somebody who's recently, I would say, immigrated to Canada, what was your vision as an Italian and your sense of regional cuisine to bring to Toronto and maybe kind of break the stereotype of what people think that Italian food is?
So yeah, there is. I want to start from since I came in Canada. I remember when we opened the Don Alfonso, there was like a night with 65 guests that at least 20% of the guests, they asked to me to cook the pasta more soft.
Mhm.
So there was I said, okay, there is much work to do here in this country. So we need to do something. But honestly, after 6 years, the people, they understand very well what is an Italian food right now. What is the quality of Italian food? And right now, at the moment, if there is one person, one table in 1 week, it's that ask to do the pasta a little bit more cooked.
Mhm.
It's more than enough. So nobody asked you to change your traditional Italian food, and this means that the people are much more educated, and this
Mhm.
means that we can work, we can evolve our traditional and matching our traditional with modern technique and modern combination of flavor.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah, that's why I decided to mix to do an Italian modern restaurant, because I felt that was the right moment where the people, first of all, they understand what is a real Italian food right now. So now we
Mhm.
can do a next step to evolve our traditional food. But in the beginning was very very hard, because that's when you ask an Italian that cook pasta al dente and say some the guests say, you know what, cook 5 minutes more. I say okay. And so you starting asking your mind, I say where I am now, what I gonna do now. So but I never give up, and I always found um, an opportunity to grow myself, and to make sure that step by step, with always respect to the guests, make sure that when they come to your restaurant, we serve pasta al dente. Al dente
Right.
is the right way to eat Italian pasta. And
Right.
it's difficult, because there is a guest that they can understand, the guest that they want just more cook and that's it. But honestly, I felt very lucky, because I always found a guest where when they come in my restaurant, they always try to evolve themselves, and understand, you eat pasta like that in Italy? That's interesting. I want like that. So I always find guests with an open mind, and
Good.
accept my Italian food, yeah, our Italian food.
That's amazing.
So
And
Toronto, it's in a very good moment now for Italian food. We not eat anymore just
right. Pizza
spaghetti
and
with
pasta.
polpetta.
Yeah, spaghetti and meatballs. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, so let's
Yes.
flip the coin. Okay, because this is something when I was reading about your awards, is that, okay, you're serving Italian food, but you have these other influences. So there's a big Italian population just in Toronto alone. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there are the Italian descendants as well. So what was their response to this?
So can you say again? I can't hear you
Okay. So
properly.
what? Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is on the other side of the coin, you've talked about, and it's great that you're educating non-Italians about food, but let's talk about maybe educating Italians in Toronto or descendants about the ability to create outside, to go outside of the box. So to be able to adapt other ingredients from other cultures, mainly Asian, Japanese, into what might seem a traditional dish. What was the response to that, or have you had a response?
I have a secret. I have a secret. Um, I always take a traditional dish with a touch of modernity and a touch of influence. I never do like 50 and 50. I always put my Italianity first and then try to combine with different flavors.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do that, what happened? Happened that an Italian person that come to your restaurant, they expect uh, a kind of food where is a modern food, but still with the same flavor. And when they try my food, they always appreciate, because first of all, I like to plating visually attractive. So people, they like when you plating
Right.
clean, minimal. So even if there is something simple, they feel special, right? So this is the first step. Second
Right.
step is to keep the natural flavor of Italian traditional recipe with 10%, 50% of twist of Asian or Canadian, and they appreciate that. They love that. Even most of my regular guests, they are from Woodbridge. So in Woodbridge we have a big Italian community. It's
Right.
and there is no age. There is people, young people, a little bit older. So they very well accepted my concept, and it's
Excellent.
something new. It's something new in the city, and I am very proud to be one of the first to evolve our culture, our Italian culture. But before we do that, to do that, you have to know very well Italian food.
Right.
I
Of
am
course.
I am not sure if I don't know, an German guy
Hmm.
can cook Italian with a twist with Asian, or you know what I mean.
Right.
It's You have to know very well your traditions, your roots, and
Of
then
course.
after you can express
Do the
yourself
variation.
with the responsibility, because the Italian chef that work outside of Italy have much more responsibility, because you are representing your country in that moment. People see you like they when they come in your place, they feel that they are going in Italy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Even if we are a modern restaurant, Italian modern
Right.
restaurant, they still feel they want that they are, when they are in your restaurant, they are in Italy. So that's why
Right.
always try to keep my Italianity in identity, in expression, when I talk, I because the people they love it. They love to see me that I am still very very Italian.
Yes, that's great. And you haven't
Yeah.
lost that. And I was thinking about that when we were, the whole idea of awards, and it's all very beautiful. But I think on top of
But
that, there is,
yeah,
sorry,
can I add one thing? We
of
talking
course.
about awards and many achievements. Uh, that's very. We are very proud of that. Me, my business partner, DaNico, the team. But I want to add that every single award is just for our guests to
Hmm.
make sure that the guests they choose your restaurant and they find the standard that they want,
Right.
the experience that they want. It's not just ego. It's not ego or some. It's just to make sure that the guests, when they come in your restaurant, they gonna find a kind of experience.
Right.
It's not. It's not just about words. It's about fact. When they come in your restaurant, they're gonna have what I am saying now.
Right. And I totally agree with you. And it's a conduit to what I was going to get to next. And something that you said in another interview is I agree with you. Never go to a restaurant because it's award winning. What you're saying is ego. Never use it as a prize. This is something that's great to achieve. And I think you've said is you get the award, but your mind is what next? And not what next, like, can I live up to this? But as far as a creative, is that correct?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to move beyond the award, like you said, and it's all about the experience. It's all about
It's for
subjective. It's the
all the
guest.
yeah all the hours that we got is to make sure that the guests they choose in your restaurant and the guests they are satisfied and they have a unique experience in our restaurant. So hours are the consequence of what we give to the guests.
Right.
It's
No,
it's
it's
not
very
just the
well
single
said.
hour. I am chef of the year, yes, but without my guests, and I am just Daniele. I am nothing. It's
Yeah.
our guests that make the business. That make the business. That is the point.
Right. That's great. And thank you for explaining all of that so well. Yes. Again, if you are already in Canada or are visiting, because we're coming towards summer and it's a peak time for tourists, please look up the restaurant and make a reservation, I imagine, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, we are quite busy, so it's
Yeah, yes.
yeah,
This is not just a walk in and have a chance, like I said, to explore and learn. I feel like you're very much an ambassador for what you are passionate about, bringing it, to your guests. I really love that. So
yeah.
typically, when I interview people, it's foreigners who have moved to Italy. But like I said, we have different features where I always loved, and that's why the podcast is called Italy Answered, to hear from Italians themselves. But I always like to wrap up our conversation by asking, besides friends and family, what do you miss about Italy when you're in Canada?
Uh, See the people. Go in stay in the middle of street and see the people. How they what are they doing when they talking, listening the conversations, and then I miss the food 100%. My brother he
Um,
opened his pizzeria last month, and I can't wait to go there to try. He's a pizza maker. I can't wait to go there to try his pizza because he's very good pizza maker. And yeah, the food that my mom doing, my family doing, definitely the pizza is the most thing that I miss, and watching the people in the street. It's sometimes the first thing that I do when I go in Italy. I say hello to my mom and to my dad, and then I say, okay, I'm gonna come back in 1 hour. I go in the most busy part of Napoli,
yeah,
and I sit on a bar at on the table of the bar, take coffee, and watching people for 1 hour, just to
yeah.
to uh, I can say to recall me where I come from. No, that is, and then after I go back to home to stay with my parents.
It's so funny that you can say that because you're not the first Italian to say that. A lot of people I've interviewed say that they miss the piazza. But when you're
The
talking about
piazza, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, all the people and the
Yes,
crowd, because
I know wasn't sure if he was aware of this term. That's why I didn't say piazza.
that's okay. We're getting really good at understanding everything Italian, even though we're
Yeah,
not.
okay.
But it's funny. I was thinking as you said that is you might find this strange, but I go back to Toronto to see people because I'm now living
Yeah.
in the suburbs in Florida and I miss the city, but not just
Yes.
any
Yeah.
city. I go to any city, but I know Toronto back like a back of my
Yeah.
hand, so it's funny that you say that, but I do understand the coffee at the bar and everything like this. This is not something we have in Toronto.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
it's not
Yeah.
the same thing. There's no piazza talk. So,
No.
yeah. So, in
But
conclusion,
here there are other very good things that I love Toronto. Toronto is it's an amazing city. Very very good city. Give a lots of opportunity if you have enough energy, if you have a passion, if you want to do something special. Toronto is one of the few cities in the world that still can give that a lots of
that's
opportunity.
that's good to know. I'm glad to know
Yeah.
that. Leads to my final question is: we often talk about the American dream. All right. And it's funny because I did not know that, and I don't know if you know, but June is Italian Heritage Month in Canada. I just was trying to find a month that wasn't July because that's Independence Day in the United States. So I figured, okay, June's a good time. And then I found that. Would you say that you've achieved the Canadian dream? And how would you define that?
But Canadian dream, it's what I am living now, 100%. It's something incredible. I didn't expect. I came just in Canada to make sure that I said when I landed first day in Toronto, I said, okay, if I have to live 8,000 kilometers away from my family, there must be a reason. I need to do
Mm,
something special. This was the first day that I came in. So the only thing that I thought, I say, let's work hard. Let's work hard. Let's work hard because that is the only way to make sure that you can do something special. Yeah, I am living the Canadian dream, and I am very proud of that. And I hope that my journey can be a motivation for a young chef to do the same. And that's what I always say to my team, to the people that surrounded me. It's guys, the only way to do that is just working hard, consistency, be professional, be respectful to the guests, and that's it. And then everything come automatically.
that's a great conclusion. Thank you. So, of course, we'll be
Thank you.
putting, if you're watching the video version, we'll be putting all the links below. They'll also be found on the description for the podcast, Italy Answered, and also in the article. But offhand, I'm trying to think. The website is DaNico. Do you know the handle?
Yeah,
Like, if yes, the website.
yeah, it's DaNico Toronto at gmail.com. The email, sorry, or the website?
Yeah, the website and the social
Yeah,
media that could be found.
yeah, yeah. The website is DaNicoToronto.com,
Right.
and then the where the you want to do the Instagram? What
Yeah,
you ask for?
Instagram. Instagram.
It's Danico Toronto.
Yeah. Okay. We'll
Yeah,
put it all below. But I realized when I asked you that question that I hadn't
yeah,
checked again myself. But it's easy. If you just go
yeah.
on
Very
the
easy.
internet and look up Danico Toronto, you're going to find it.
Yeah,
And then you can
you're
also
gonna
find
find
through that account.
if you put Danico Toronto, you're gonna find me first, and then the rest.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah, thank you, thank you,
Uh, but it's been wonderful talking to you. We are Live in
thank you,
Italy
Lisa.
magazine. It's www.liveinItalyMag.com. And you can find us on all social media, Live in Italy Mag. So thank you for your time. I'm so excited. You'll be on my itinerary list when I get back to Toronto. We were just there last year,
Please,
so I don't
please,
make it this year.
will be a big pleasure for me hosting you.
Uh, we'll be posting photos in the article, but if you have a chance to go on their website and look at the menu and also on their social media, you will. I mean, what an experience! Absolutely stunning. From the food, the planning, you see the types of service you have, and the stunning interior as well. So please go visit the next time you're in Toronto. Alla
Thank you.
prossima.
Ciao, buona
Ciao.
giornata.